The emergency klaxons had been screaming for 6 minutes when Chief Scientist Velmora burst into the council chamber, her translator crackling with panic. The Cubs activated it. 3 sectors are experiencing temporal distortions, and we have no idea what technology they've found. High Priestess Zareth rose from her seat, crystalline features sharp with alarm. Activated what? The security vaults are bypassed. All 12 protocols. Velmora's hands trembled as she pulled up holographic readings that made no sense. The device matches nothing in the galactic archives, nothing in 17,000 years of recorded technology. And it's getting worse. Security Chief Kronax slammed his fist on the table. How did juveniles access restricted areas? Where are their parents? Attempting to calm them, but the Cubs won't let go of the artifact. Velmora's voice cracked. They're glowing, Kronax. Blue bioluminescence we've never seen in our species. Whatever this device is, it's changing them. The chamber fell silent except for the alarms. Zareth's voice dropped to a whisper. Show me. The hologram shifted, displaying 4 Kretal cubs huddled in a maintenance corridor, their small forms pulsing with ethereal light as they clutched something cylindrical. Their eyes were wide, unblinking, and they were speaking in perfect unison, a behavior impossible for juveniles. The infinite vessel provides, they chanted. The Keeper's gift sustains all. Sacred texts, Zareth breathed. They're quoting the prophecy of eternal sustenance. But that's mythology, not... It was found in the human janitor's cleaning cart. Velmora's statement hung in the air like a bomb. We've summoned her. Kronax stood so fast his chair crashed backward. A human artifact caused this? Evacuate the sector. Evacuate now. If humans built something that can... The door opened. Evelyn walked in, still holding her mop, looking annoyed at being pulled from C-deck. She glanced at the hologram, squinted, and then started laughing. Oh my God, that's my water bottle. Why do the Cubs look like they stuck their fingers in a socket? 3 of the most powerful figures in the station stared at her. You're... What? Velmora's translator struggled with the term. My water bottle. Evelyn pointed at the hologram. The blue one. I was looking for that. Did they lick it or something? Why are they glowing? Zareth's hand went to her chest, steadying herself against the table. You're claiming the artifact that's currently causing sector-wide reality distortions is a beverage container? Well, yeah, it's insulated. Keeps my water cold during my shift. Evelyn tilted her head, genuinely confused. What reality distortions? Kronax activated his communicator with shaking hands. Command, the human says the doomsday device is for hydration. I repeat, hydration. I don't know how to classify this. It's not a doomsday anything. Evelyn's voice rose with exasperation. It's a water bottle. Cost me 15 credits at the station shop. Why is everyone freaking out? Velmora pulled up more readings, her scientific composure cracking. Because the internal temperature of your bottle defies our thermodynamic sensors. Because it's emitting a biosignature that suggests it's alive. Because 4 Cubs made contact with it and are now displaying capabilities beyond their developmental stage while speaking prophecies they shouldn't know. They're kids, Evelyn said slowly, like explaining to children. Kids get into stuff. Did you try just taking it away from them? We tried. Kronax's voice was grim. Every attempt to separate them from the device triggered energy surges that knocked out power to surrounding corridors. The Cubs have formed some kind of psychic link with it. With your water bottle? Evelyn stared at the hologram again. The Cubs were now arranging themselves in a perfect circle around her bottle, still chanting, still glowing. Okay, that's actually kind of weird, but it's just a bottle. It holds water. That's literally all it does. The readings say otherwise. Velmora's hands flew across her console. The substance inside maintains a stable temperature 14 degrees below ambient, despite no active cooling system we can detect. The vessel itself shows signs of molecular regeneration, and the Cubs believe, genuinely believe, they've discovered proof of the infinite vessel from our oldest religious texts. Evelyn rubbed her temples. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I assure you, Zareth said quietly, no one is kidding. This is now a theological emergency. Theological emergency, Evelyn repeated. Over my water bottle? The one I bought because the station coffee is terrible and I needed something for tea. Velmora wasn't listening. She was too focused on the new data flooding her screens. The cubs' neural patterns are synchronizing. This shouldn't be possible at their age. Our species doesn't develop collective consciousness until maturity, and even then it requires years of training. They're drinking from it, Kronak said suddenly, zooming in on the hologram. Look, they're taking turns tilting the vessel and consuming whatever's inside. Evelyn leaned forward. Oh no, they opened it? Do you know how many kid germs are now? She stopped, seeing their expressions. Right, bigger problems, got it. Consuming substance from a reality-bending artifact. Zareth's voice was barely controlled panic. We need to know what's inside that container. What if it's toxic to Cretal biology? What if it's changing them permanently? It's water. Evelyn threw her hands up. Filtered water, from Earth, the most boring thing in the universe. The door burst open again. 2 adult Cretal rushed in, their movements jerky with fear. Our children, the female said. Please, they won't respond to us. They just keep saying they've found the Keeper's gift. Velmora pulled up. Medical scans. I'm so sorry. Your cubs are showing cellular changes we can't explain. Elevated hydration levels, enhanced neural connectivity, and their bioluminescence. They're just glowing because they're excited, Evelyn interjected. Kids do weird stuff when they're excited. Cretal juveniles do not glow, Kronak said sharply. Not blue, never blue. That color is reserved for ancient texts describing the transcendent state. The male parent's voice cracked. Are they ascending? The prophecies say the worthy few who touch the infinite vessel will transcend physical limitations and… Okay, everyone stop. Evelyn moved toward the door. I'm going down there and getting my bottle back. This is ridiculous. Kronax blocked her path. Absolutely not. Every time someone approaches within 3 meters, the energy surges intensify. We've had 2 technicians knocked unconscious. Then, I'll ask nicely. The human doesn't understand, Zareth said to Velmora. She thinks this is a simple retrieval. She doesn't grasp that her casual ownership of this artifact makes her the prophesied keeper. Evelyn's eye twitched. I'm not anybody's keeper. I'm a janitor who wants her water bottle back before my shift ends. Velmora's console erupted with new alerts. The cubs are drawing something, mathematical formulas, highly advanced energy conservation equations that even our scientists struggle with. The hologram shifted, showing symbols the cubs had somehow etched into the corridor walls. Complex, perfect, impossible for juveniles who hadn't even finished primary education. They're explaining the vessel's power, Zareth whispered. They're receiving knowledge directly from it. Or they're copying symbols they saw somewhere and don't understand. Evelyn was reaching her limit. Look, I need that bottle. I have a condition. I need to stay hydrated or I get migraines. It's medical. Medical? Velmora's attention snapped to her. You require the vessel for survival? I require water for survival. The bottle just holds it. She's bound to it, the female parent said with awe. The keeper cannot be separated from the infinite vessel. The myths are true. Evelyn pinched the bridge of her nose. I'm going to have a migraine right now if someone doesn't explain why insulated metal is causing a religious crisis. Kronax pulled up technical scans. Your vessel maintains internal temperature consistency through what we believe is a perpetual energy field. It shows no signs of degradation despite what you claim is regular use. The substance inside, this water, remains in a state that defies our understanding of thermodynamics. It's called a vacuum seal. Evelyn's voice went up an octave. Double-walled construction. It's not magic, it's physics. The cubs believe otherwise. Velmora displayed new readings. Their collective consciousness is expanding. They're now speaking in perfectly synchronized patterns about eternal sustenance and the gift that never empties. Of course it never empties if they keep drinking from it, and it keeps being full. Wait. Evelyn froze. Did I refill it this morning? I can't remember if I refilled it. 3 aliens stared at her in horror. You cannot remember, Zareth said slowly, whether you replenished the infinite vessel. It's not infinite. I fill it from the water fountain like a normal person. Cronax's communicator crackled. Security chief, the Cubs are requesting audience with the Keeper. They say she must come to complete the ritual. Ritual? Evelyn looked at Velmora. What ritual? I have no idea. This isn't in any of our texts. Zareth was scrolling through holographic scripture, her movements increasingly frantic. The prophecies mention the Keeper in the vessel, but nothing about rituals, nothing about what happens when they meet. When they meet? I own the thing. The Cubs don't know that, Velmora said. To them, you're a divine figure who manifested to reclaim her sacred artifact. Evelyn looked at the hologram again. The Cubs were now sitting in perfect formation, her water bottle placed reverently in the center of their circle. They'd stopped glowing quite so brightly, but their eyes remained fixed on the bottle with an intensity that made her uncomfortable. They're going to be so disappointed, she muttered. It's just a water bottle. Perhaps, Zareth said carefully, you could explain that to them, in person, before this escalates further. Further? Evelyn gestured at the chaos. How does this escalate further? As if in answer, every light in the chamber flickered. The hologram showed the Cubs rising in unison, lifting the water bottle above their heads. The Keeper approaches, they said together. The circle completes. The gift shall flow eternal. Cronax groaned. They're entering some kind of trance state. Medical teams are standing by, but you need me to go talk to some kids about my water bottle, Evelyn finished. Fine, but I'm taking it back, and someone's going to explain to their parents that proper hydration is important and stealing people's drinks is not okay. She stormed toward the door, then paused. Also, for the record, I have 3 more of these at home, so this whole prophecy thing might want to account for that. The sound of Zareth fainting was drowned out by Velmora's scream. The corridor had been cleared except for medical personnel, theologians, and enough security to invade a small moon. Evelyn walked through them all with her mop still in hand, because no one had given her time to put it away. The Cubs saw her coming. The blue glow intensified. All 4 rose to their feet in perfect synchronization, holding her water bottle between them like an offering. Their voices echoed with a resonance that shouldn't come from children. The Keeper arrives. We have maintained the vessel. We await your blessing. Oh, sweethearts, no. Evelyn's irritation melted into sympathy. She crouched down to their level, immediately triggering every alarm on Cronax's security panel. I'm not a keeper of anything except really clean floors. That's my water bottle. I need it back, okay? The Cubs tilted their heads in unison. The vessel chose us to guard it until your return. It didn't choose anything. You found it in my cart. Evelyn reached out slowly. Can I have it, please? The moment her fingers touched the metal, the corridor erupted with energy. Lights exploded. Consoles shorted out. The Cubs' glow became blinding. She touches the vessel! They screamed in ecstasy. The circuit completes! Evelyn snatched her hand back. What the hell was that? Velmora was frantically scanning. The bioresonance spiked when you made contact. The Cub's neural pattern synchronized with yours for exactly 1.3 seconds. This confirms they've formed a psychic bond with the artifact. It's a water bottle. A new voice cut through the chaos. Perhaps we can verify that claim. An elderly Cretal stepped forward, his robes marking him as a high scholar. 2 more followed, their expressions grave. Theologian Resht, Zareth said with relief. Thank the ancestors. We need your wisdom. Resht studied Evelyn with ancient eyes. You claim this is a simple container, human? Yes, look. Evelyn grabbed the bottle from the Cubs, who whimpered but didn't resist, and twisted the cap. The click of the lid opening caused 3 theologians to gasp. See? It opens. There's water inside. Normal water. She tilted it, showing them the liquid within. Recht leaned closer. The substance is transparent? Water's usually transparent, yeah. Impossible. Velmora was scanning the bottle frantically. Water at this temperature should show particulate matter, dissolved minerals, some form of contamination. This is molecularly pure. It's filtered, Evelyn was shouting now. Through a filter. That's what filters do. She speaks of purification rituals, another theologian whispered. The ancient texts mention water blessed by the keeper achieving perfect clarity. Evelyn took a long drink from the bottle, more out of spite than thirst. Every alien in the corridor went silent. She consumes from the infinite vessel, Recht breathed. She draws sustenance from the artifact directly. I'm drinking water. Evelyn wiped her mouth. Humans do this constantly, 8 glasses a day. It's basic biology. Velmora looked like she might cry. 8? You consume this substance 8 times daily? At minimum. More if I'm exercising, or it's hot, or why are you all looking at me like that? Kronax was updating his security protocols in real time. Command: the human requires the artifact for basic survival. Multiple times per day. This changes threat assessment completely. One of the cubs tugged on Evelyn's sleeve. When she looked down, the blue glow had faded from his eyes. He looked scared. Keeper? I don't feel good. Oh, honey, I'm not. Evelyn stopped, really looking at the cubs for the first time. Their skin had a grayish tint. Their movements were sluggish. When did you 4 last drink anything? Like actual water? The cubs looked at each other in confusion. They have been communing with the vessel for 14 hours, Velmora said. They refused all sustenance, claiming the vessel provided all they needed. 14 hours? Evelyn's voice went sharp with concern. She looked at Velmora. Do Kretal need water? Of course, but they're dehydrated. Evelyn spun toward Kronax. Where's the nearest water source? These kids need to drink now. The vessel, Recht began. Forget the vessel. Evelyn was already moving, pulling the confused cubs with her toward a wall panel. They need water, real water, not magic artifact water, just water. She found a dispensing unit, grabbed cups, and started filling them. The cubs watched, transfixed, as water poured from the station's supply. The vessel duplicates itself, one whispered. No, it's... Evelyn stopped arguing and just handed them each a cup. Drink, please. You're scaring me. The cubs drank. Within seconds, the blue glow faded completely. Their skin tone normalized. They blinked like waking from dreams. I'm thirsty, the smallest one said in a normal, childish voice. Can I have more? Evelyn refilled their cups, her hands shaking slightly. Yes, baby, as much as you need. Behind her, Velmora was watching her medical scanners with growing horror. The cellular changes are reversing. The neural synchronization is breaking down. All the impossible readings were just dehydration symptoms? Severe dehydration in juveniles can cause hallucinations, Recht said slowly. Altered consciousness. In adults, it's been known to trigger religious experiences. Zareth sat down heavily on the floor. The prophecy, the infinite vessel, the transcendent state, it was all. Thirsty kids finding a water bottle, Evelyn finished. She was sitting with the cubs now, making sure they drank slowly. The temporal distortions were probably their perception warping. The energy surges were them panicking when people tried to take away what they thought was a magical water source. One of the cubs looked up at her with normal, slightly embarrassed eyes. I thought it was magic. I know, sweetie. Evelyn smoothed his crest gently. But real magic is staying hydrated and healthy. Kronax's voice was hollow. I need to file a report that says emergency caused by water bottle. Better than let cubs get dangerously dehydrated, Evelyn said pointedly. The cubs' parents rushed forward, gathering their children with a mix of relief and mortification. The smallest cub was crying now. Not from spiritual ecstasy, but because he had a stomachache from drinking too fast. I'm so sorry, the mother kept saying to Evelyn. I don't know what they were thinking. We were in a meeting and they were supposed to stay in the recreation area. Kids wander, Evelyn said, patting the woman's shoulder. It happens, but maybe keep water on them? They got really dehydrated. We had water available, the father protested weakly. They chose not to drink it because they were so focused on the vessel. Evelyn held up her water bottle, examining it like she'd never seen it before. Okay, but why this? Why did they think a random water bottle was special? Resht stepped forward, looking exhausted. May I? Evelyn handed it over. The theologian turned it slowly, his aged fingers tracing the contours. The shape matches ancient depictions, cylindrical, sealed at both ends, marked with symbols. Those aren't symbols, that's the brand logo. To juvenile eyes, in dim maintenance lighting, combined with their lessons about the prophecy, Resht sighed. They saw what they were taught to look for, the infinite vessel that sustains without emptying. But it does empty, Evelyn gestured emphatically. I refill it like 6 times a day. Velmora had moved to examine the cubs, her scientific curiosity overriding her earlier panic. The substance you call water? On Earth this is common? Extremely common. Covers like 70% of the planet. Every alien in the corridor processed this information with visible difficulty. 70%, Velmora repeated. And you store it in personal containers? Well, yeah, for convenience. So we can drink throughout the day without constantly finding fountains. Zareth had recovered enough to stand, though she still looked shaken. Your species has achieved such abundance that you carry personal reserves of life-sustaining liquid. It's not that dramatic. It's just water. Evelyn demonstrated the twist cap again. See? Open, drink, close. The insulation keeps it cold because... She paused, seeing their expressions. Okay, how do you all carry water? Kronax cleared his throat. Cretal physiology is efficient. We require hydration every 6 to 8 hours. We use communal dispensing stations. Every 6 to 8... Evelyn's eyes widened. Oh. So when I'm walking around with my bottle, drinking constantly, you think I'm doing something weird? We thought you had a medical dependency on the artifact, Velmora admitted. That you couldn't survive without it specifically. I can't survive without water. The bottle's just convenient. Evelyn started laughing despite herself. This whole thing happened because humans are high maintenance about hydration. And because our cubs are taught ancient stories without proper context, the mother added bitterly. I'm complaining to the school about their theology curriculum. One of the cubs tugged Evelyn's sleeve again. Miss Evelyn. Just Evelyn's fine, honey. Is the water really not magic? Evelyn knelt down, meeting his eyes. Well, water is kind of magic. It keeps you alive, helps you grow, makes you feel better when you're sick. But it's not special water, it's the same stuff that comes out of your fountains. But yours is cold. Because of the insulation in the bottle. Want to see how it works? She unscrewed the bottom cap, something she rarely did, revealing the double wall construction. See? There's space between the inner and outer walls. No air can get through, so heat can't transfer easily. That's why the water stays cold. The cubs crowded around, fascination replacing their earlier reverence. Can we have one? That's up to your parents, Evelyn said, glancing up at the adults. The father looked at Zareth helplessly. Are these artifacts restricted? Do we need special permission to... They're not artifacts. Evelyn stood up, her patience finally wearing through. They're consumer goods. You can literally buy them at the station shop in the Commerce District. I bought mine there. Section 7, near the food court, there's a whole display of water bottles. Silence. The sacred vessel, Resht said slowly, is available for purchase in the Commerce District. Next to the sandwich place, yeah. Velmora looked at Kronax. Kronax looked at Zareth. Zareth looked at the ceiling like she was praying for strength. I'm updating my report, Kronax muttered, typing frantically. Emergency caused by commercially available hydration device. Theological crisis resolved through explanation of basic thermodynamics. Security protocols updated. Human mundane items require classification before panic. "There's more," Evelyn said, then immediately regretted it when they all stared at her. "I mean, this is just one type. There are water bottles with straws, ones that filter as you drink, collapsible ones, ones with fruit infusers." She trailed off, seeing their expressions. "You all look like I just told you the world is ending." "She casually possesses multiple artifact variants," Resht said faintly. "They're not artifacts. The human doesn't understand what she is," Zareth said, echoing her earlier words to Velmora. "She walks among us carrying objects we would treat as treasures, using them as tools." "As things," Evelyn corrected. "Just things. Helpful things, but things." One of the cubs held up the water bottle, looking at it with new understanding. "So it's like a toy, but for grown-ups?" "More like a tool, buddy. Helps me do my job better because I don't have to keep running to water fountains." "That's actually brilliant," Velmora said suddenly. "Personal hydration optimization, portable resource management. Why haven't we developed this?" "Because you're efficient," Evelyn said. "You don't need to drink as often. Humans are needy. We need water constantly, sleep for like a third of our lives, have to eat every few hours. We're high-maintenance creatures. We develop stuff to make that easier." Cronax's communicator buzzed. He listened, then looked up with something almost like amusement. "Command wants to know if they should evacuate Section 7, the Commerce District, where the artifacts are sold." Evelyn groaned. "Please don't cause a panic at the water bottle store." "Too late," Cronax said, showing her his screen. "We have 17 reports of concerned citizens reporting suspicious human technology at various vendors. Security is responding to 12 separate calls about reality-bending devices." "They're water bottles." "Yes," Zareth said tiredly. "We're beginning to understand that." 3 hours later, Evelyn was back on C-deck with her mop when Velmora found her. "The Council has reached several decisions," the scientist announced, datapad in hand. "First, we're implementing mandatory education about human container technology. Second, the Commerce District is no longer under lockdown. Third," she paused, "we're formally apologizing for the panic." Evelyn wrung out her mop. "You don't have to apologize. Cultural misunderstanding happens. We nearly evacuated 3 sectors because of your water bottle. And now you know better." Evelyn moved to the next section of floor. "How are the cubs?" "Hydrated, embarrassed. Their parents enrolled them in a science program instead of advanced theology." Velmora watched Evelyn work for a moment. "You're not bothered by any of this?" "By what? Kids being kids? Adults trying to keep them safe?" Evelyn shrugged. "Everyone did their best with the information they had. No one got hurt. That's a win in my book. You're remarkably calm for someone who was temporarily classified as a divine figure." "I've been called worse." Velmora's mandibles twitched in what might have been a smile. She pulled up her datapad. "The Commerce District reported something interesting. Water bottle sales increased by 400% in the last 2 hours. Every Cretal parent wants one for their cubs now. That's actually kind of sweet. Zareth is rewriting portions of our religious texts. Resht published a paper on the danger of literal interpretation in modern contexts. And Cronax." Velmora's expression shifted to something like amusement. "Cronax bought a water bottle. Won't admit why, but he's been carrying it everywhere." Evelyn grinned. "He got caught up in the hype. He got curious about human efficiency solutions." Velmora hesitated. "May I ask something? Your vessel, bottle, keeps water cold for hours, you said." "About 6 hours, usually. Depends on the model." "And you own multiple?" 3 at home, 1 at work. Had 2 at work, but..." Evelyn gestured vaguely at the ceiling, toward where the cubs had found it. Velmora made a note on her datapad. "The Council is requesting a full inventory of your cleaning supplies, for classification purposes. We need to know if there are other items that might cause incidents." "My cleaning supplies are pretty standard. Mop, bucket, disinfectant spray, scrub brushes. Evelyn stopped, seeing Velmora's expression. What? Disinfectant spray. That eliminates biological contaminants? Yeah. In a portable container. Oh no. We may need to schedule another educational session. Evelyn leaned on her mop. Look, I can bring my stuff in tomorrow and just show you what everything does, save everyone some panic. That would be appreciated. Velmora turned to leave, then paused. One more thing. Your lunch. You bring it in a container as well? A thermos, yeah. Keep soup hot or drinks cold, depending on... Why are you making that face? No reason. No reason at all. Velmora was typing rapidly. What color is this thermos? Red. Why? Just updating the database. Red thermal container. Definitely not a sacred artifact. Definitely not. Velmora. Tomorrow, the scientist said quickly. Bring it tomorrow. We'll do the educational session before anyone sees it and draws conclusions. She hurried away before Evelyn could respond. Evelyn finished her section of floor, then headed toward the service elevator. She passed a group of Cretal cubs, not the same ones from earlier, walking with their parents. Each cub carried a shiny new water bottle, comparing colors and features with intense juvenile seriousness. One spotted Evelyn and waved. Look, I got one like yours. That's great, kiddo. Stay hydrated. The cub beamed, and his parents nodded respectfully as they passed. In the elevator, Evelyn pulled her bag around and looked at her lunch thermos sitting inside. Red metal, insulated, with a handle for easy carrying. She'd had it for 2 years. Just a thermos, she muttered. It's not going to cause an incident. It's just a thermos. The elevator doors opened on her floor. Kronax was standing there, waiting, his new water bottle prominently clipped to his belt. Evelyn, the council would like to schedule that educational session for 800 tomorrow. Velmora already told me. Good. And please bring all personal items you regularly carry. All of them. His eyes drifted to her bag. Is that another container? It's my lunch thermos. Kronax's expression didn't change, but his hand went to his communicator. Command. Update the priority list. Red thermal container, probable soup storage, possibly hot liquid containment. Human claims it's just a thermos. Kronax. Aero 800 tomorrow, Evelyn. Please don't open it in public before then. He walked away, speaking rapidly into his communicator about implementing hot liquid protocols. Evelyn looked down at her innocent thermos, then at her water bottle, then at the mop in her hand. I wonder what they'd do if they saw my electric kettle, she said to no one in particular. Somewhere in the distance, an alarm went off. Evelyn decided she didn't want to know why. She had 3 more floors to clean, and tomorrow she'd apparently be teaching Introduction to Human Container Technology. Just another day at the station. She took a sip from her water bottle, her regular, non-magical, commercially available water bottle, and got back to work. Behind her, a group of security personnel rushed past, heading toward Section 7. Someone had found the electric kettles.